Hello, everyone. I'm Peyton.
I'm Sam.
And this is Uncontrolled Population. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, indeed. Today, we are talking all things alien,
Woo.
as well as the spiritual side, according to some, which has been a key contributing fact into why they have had contact with the extraterrestrials themselves. So, I'm going to make a quick adjustment to the volume levels. Peyton, what's going on in the world before we get to that?
All right, so today is May 28th. So last time we had talked a little bit about, the Voting Rights Act being overturned.
Right.
And we talked a little bit about like Tennessee and Louisiana and kind of what that means. But I have learned a little bit more about it, so I want to go a little bit more in depth.
Okay.
So basically, the Voting Rights Act came to be because people were going to the voting polls and still being discriminated against, whether that be skin color mostly, class, gender, because people say, for instance, that women got the right to vote in 1919, which is true for white women, but not for black women. So when the Voting Rights Act came into play in 1965, it was basically saying, like, okay, we need to have a ground-based level of having people represented in their communities and, going to the poll, you can't be discriminated against, things like that. So everyone across the board could vote without interference from other outside sources. So with that being overturned, it basically makes it harder for people of color to vote. And with this redistricting in like Tennessee, so that happened May 7th, and it was signed into law. So basically what that does is it separates areas in Tennessee so that when people go to vote, all the black and brown people that were in these certain districts that had more of a power within their own communities are separated. So then they really don't get as much of a vote as like their white constituents.
Wow.
And so like this already happened in Tennessee. So why that matters is because these representatives then are for like Congress, because to basically change laws, you need 2/3 of Congress. And so that's why everyone for all these next things, because this year we are in Colorado voting for a new governor. And we actually have let me go back to my notes. Our two, I guess, most famous people that are running are Michael Bennett and Phil Weiser. I have done some information digging into this guy named, I believe, Eric Underwood. And he actually has some really good policies that I really like. But as we know, they don't really push these candidates, even for Democratic things. So it looks like it's kind of going to be between Michael Bennett and Phil Weiser. But the primaries is where we vote for who would be the Democratic, primary. So everyone should be getting their ballots within the next couple weeks. And we vote on June 30th. So if you want to have someone that's a little bit more outside the corporations and that kind of stuff, like Eric Underwood seems to be way more, he kind of gives Mamdani vibes from what I've seen, which I'm like, whoa, we could have our own Mamdani here. But yeah, Phil Weiser seems to be kind of the front runner from what I've been seeing. So get out there and vote, especially right now, because like I said, all of these things are going to help us kind of fight against the Trump regime because, we need more people on our side.
We do.
So, but going back to the redistricting in Tennessee, so that's already passed. And then Louisiana is also, they're still in the process of the congressional redistricting map. And the legislative process has not officially gone into effect. So we're kind of waiting on that. But I think it should be soon, I believe. So, again, another way to disenfranchise black and brown voters. another way to take away power from Black and brown voices. So yeah, please, everyone, get out there and vote. And then, yeah, I think that's about it about what's been going on right now. Obviously, we still have the Iran and war going on, where we're basically contributing to more war and famine as the United States keeps doing. So yeah, gas prices are soaring because
going insane.
Yeah. So that's where we're at.
Yay.
So yeah, how about Sam with some good news?
Well, for our good news, studies show that littering declined 34% across America since 2020, which I'd say is a pretty decent win.
Yeah.
What that looks like, I mean, 34% across all of America is actually really huge. You know, that's more than my brain can handle.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good thing. I'm getting my information from the Good News Network, as most. Litter across America has declined 34% since 2020, according to a new report from the charity Keep America Beautiful, instead of Make America Great Again. I kind of like the contrast.
Okay.
The report reckons that every American's share of litter along roadways and waterways has fallen over that time from 152 pieces to 96 pieces.
Okay.
So that's almost by half.
Yeah.
I mean, those are nice. I've noticed in my own personal life that I've seen a bunch of people like hosting, like clean up the river, clean up this, clean up that on this day, meet here, like especially in Denver. I really love the fact that I'm seeing more of those. I myself am one of those people where if I see a piece of trash, I'm compelled to pick it up. I have done that at like national parks and on trails. I even have like a little park near my house too. And even by my work, sometimes I'll see just like a can or something in the grass. And I'm like, guys, are you serious? You have to be so fucking lazy to just throw it out the fucking window. Like, what?
I know. Well, and it's annoying because it's like, most places in America have access to trash cans literally all fucking over. Dude, so it's like, let's throw our trash away, people. It's not that hard. It's kind of like the theory of not returning your shopping cart to the thing and just leaving it. It's like, okay, even though people can't see you, it's still fucking wrong, and pick your shit up. Yeah, my mom was actually really big about not littering. She wouldn't even let us spit gum on the ground or out the window. Because actually that gets trapped in birds' stomach and they can't digest it, and then eventually they die. So yeah, just pick your fucking litter up, people.
Just hang on to your trash for a little bit longer. Come on, it's not going to be that big of a hindrance.
Right.
There's trash cans literally everywhere. We're America, for God's sakes. We have trash cans on like every corner of the street.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard.
Right.
What is the saying? When you do the right thing despite nobody's watching you. What is that called? I'm blowing a blank on it.
Basically, like integrity is doing things the right thing when no one's watching.
Have a little bit of integrity.
Yeah.
Have a little bit. If you don't have humility, at least have some freaking integrity and dignity. So that is a little bit of what's going on. Positively, I'm sure that there are more things, but as always, we just do once for one of these. Keep you going for a little bit until you get your fix for next time. So we're gonna dive into aliens now. All things UFO.
Love it.
But I wanted to ask really quick before we got into some of the things that we both researched. What were your thoughts when you were younger on aliens?
Okay.
And how have they changed until we get to current Peyton, and I will then share current Sam.
Okay, that's a good one. Okay, so basically the whole concept of aliens got introduced to me because of the Men in Black series.
Okay. Yeah.
And I
love that series.
Loved that series. I always loved Will Smith growing up. I loved his movies. I always thought it was super interesting that it was like this whole secret government agency, because like, hear me out, it's probably real.
Oh, it's definitely real.
It's definitely, And so, I don't know, we watched those movies all the fucking time growing up. So then when they started, like 2 came out, I watched that one. I think I was already maybe
What'd you think of the 3?
Okay, I liked the 3. I liked that they did like a go back in time type of thing. That was kind of cool. I actually really liked number 3. And it's kind of funny because my cousin growing up he's younger than us, and so we were all watching Men in Black, and after that he literally was so afraid of like aliens and stuff for like a really long time, like scared of monsters. It led to a whole fucking thing. So that's kind of funny. I always think about that when
The one point where I got scared was like in Men in Black 2 at the very, very beginning. They're going after Jeffrey. Jeffrey!
Yeah.
When he's like looking like, down and Jeffrey's like this huge freaking monster slug thing in the subways. I'm like, oh, that is terrifying.
I know. Yeah. Well, and I just really like even the first one with like the bug guy, like whole thing of like a human turning into a bug, like just gross. But there's like so many, I think over the years, obviously TikTok and like getting on these conspiracy theory Reddit and all this shit has like reformed my brain into realizing that like before I thought, okay, aliens looked a certain way, they don't, whatever. But then the more I've learned about it over the years, the more I'm like, okay, from what I'm seeing, it seems like aliens, some sort of look like us, some don't, but they actually just took a very big picture of like the sky, and they've literally digitalized or whatever. Digitized, thank you. The whole universe of what it looks like, and there's like so many universes in one, and it's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. So looking at that, like it's like there's no fucking way we're the only living things out in this whole vast whatever.
Like what the thing that I've really like learned is the possibilities are endless, and like even if it's 0.0000001%, if you let that go on for eternity, eventually that one marker is going to be hit. So like never bet against the odds.
Right.
Like the fact that you and I are even here, like after learning the history of the world, and also like the when the dinosaurs died, there was also another mass extinction called the Great Dying that took place even before the dinosaurs, and it killed, I think there was only like 36% of life left on Earth after that thing. Like it was insane.
Well, they say that it's like society has like blown up and came back like over and over and over again. Yeah.
And like at any point during that, we could have just gotten extinct.
Yeah.
Like another molten rock in the universe, but we're still here. So why the hell wouldn't there be other civilizations, you know, bless you.
Thank you.
That have existed for far longer than us, that have like advanced technology. Like people have like this huge inflated ego about ourselves and about our species, but they can't take into effect like time. Like it's hard to. It's really literally like impossible to even think back like a whole 10 years ago for me. I graduated high school.
Right.
That's insane. Like to even think about, like, you know, all the other like time that the universe has existed.
I know. And it's like, we're literally here for not even a blip. Like you can't even see us on the, Yeah.
So TikTok has kind of made an impact, sounds like, in like opening your mind to like these other possibilities. And what's like one of your favorite theories?
Okay. So a new one I've been seeing is that aliens are actually us from the future that are coming back in time. So there's like the P-47s and the P-52s or something like that. And it's basically like they look a little bit different, but it's from different points of the universe. And like in time, basically. Some people think they're like the rich people that have gone on after we've had like an extinction type of thing. I actually watched this, which I guess I can talk about it now. Or should I wait? I don't know.
We're just chilling, dude. You could talk about it if you'd like.
Perfect.
And we can come back to it later too.
Perfect. So me and Steph actually showed me this. We haven't finished the whole thing yet, but it's one of those things where you have to kind of rewatch it over and over because it's like you're gonna miss a lot of. There's so much information.
There's so much stuff. That's how I felt about Fallout.
Okay. Yeah. And so with that, I will also say when you are getting into like conspiracy theories, alien stuff, the unknown, use your discernment. Like it's really fun to get involved and learn about stuff, but like if it's bringing you stress or if you're like, okay, like this guy's lying or whatever the case, like don't even read it, don't watch it, don't, because this is like we can't confirm or deny.
You stare into the abyss is going to stare back at you.
Yeah.
And that book that I keep mentioning, The Miracles of Awareness, talked about it. They framed it as like aliens are amazing and aliens are distracting you.
Yeah.
Made an argument for both of them. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, because the attention that you put towards it is inevitably like up to you. And I'm not saying to like, you know, what I'm not saying is don't go after it, but be aware that going after it also means that your attention is being taken away from other things.
Yeah.
It's just an exchange that exists. So use your discernment.
Yes. So, well, okay, I guess before I get into this, because like then we'll go on a whole thing. I want to hear about your alien experience, like how you thought of it as a kid and then now how it's kind of changed.
I actually think I saw something at one point. I am truly convinced that I saw something. I was also in like, let me see. I don't remember exactly when, but I do remember at like a younger age just being like, yeah, aliens are real. Like, of course not. Like, why would you think that they're not? There's like infinite possibilities, that whole trope. But never really diving into it and never getting really super interested in it. So it was around the time when I went and house sat and met that person. Danny is her name, and maybe she'll be on the podcast at some point. Maybe not. But she crossed paths with me and then introduced me to the Celestine prophecy. And she was also somebody that claimed to have been abducted. And I was interested because I was very like much in this like open mindset at that time, just very like open to hearing what people had to say. And she articulated her story very well and very fluidly with me, and like in a way that made sense to me. And I was like, oh my God, like that's wow, that's really interesting. And like her vast knowledge of this stuff like interested me. So she told me about this book called Communion.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can flash a picture on the screen here and post, but I'm just curious about what your initial thoughts about this cover think to you.
Ooh, okay.
Thoughts? Is it like creepy?
A little bit, I would say.
Is it like Uncanny Valley? Like
definitely Uncanny Valley. Yeah.
This picture haunted me.
Okay.
It, like legitimately, it freaked me out because of me reading the book and hearing this detailed encounter about somebody actually like being abducted. And that small little excerpt of me just explaining that is not enough to justify the whole story and all the details that went into it, because all the details are really important for keeping time and also making sure that these people aren't bullshitting either.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people that do it just for attention or whatever their reasons be. It's really hard to, as they say in the UFO world, separate wheat from shaft.
Okay.
So I read the book and then I started listening to these podcasts while I was working at Amazon. They'd keep me interested in my job and also like, you know, help me go a little bit further. But they were interesting too. There was a podcast that I really liked because it had connected a bunch of dots, like a bunch of dots for me in my head when I met the host of this podcast. One of them, his name is Jeremy Corbell, and he's mentoring under this guy named George Knapp.
Okay.
And George Knapp is the guy that broke the story on the Bob Lazar case. Okay. And I know that you know this because this is the story of how Area 51 got famous. Oh. That's the person that inspired the whole story and came out. Dude, that story, I should have done a freaking excerpt on Bob Lazar. Okay. He is a bad motherfucker. Okay. He was building jet engines in his backyard at the age of like 15. He's stupid smart. Damn. He has so many credentials, and he found a way to get into the Area 51 program. And he saw some of the things that were going on, and he didn't agree with it. And he went public at his own life's expense. He was one of the first whistleblowers. Okay. Like for UFOs and stuff. Okay. He has diagrams of the ships that gave us the stereotypical like UFO flying saucer looking thing. And dude, that whole, like I went down the rabbit hole because I was like, these people are very well credited. Like these are
Yeah.
Harvard grad, like even more like Los Alamos lab is like where the atomic bomb got made.
Oh.
Like those motherfuckers, like that deep
Very
into the government, very smart,
Yeah.
like very well credited, and like their articulation's spot on. Yeah, right now he's running his own little company, doing well for himself, but also is constantly getting pestered by the government to this day. To this day, they raid him and pester him and find ways to make his life hell because he broke the story. Men in Black were involved. He was also one of the people that brought that to light.
Oh.
It was so I got hooked because I was like, okay, this is deeper
than like what people think.
And it also opened my eyes to some of the other wrongdoings in the world because of the amount of effort that is being given towards the amount of attention that is being given towards keeping a lid on some of these credible sources is unfathomable. To the point where I bet you didn't know there was a congressional hearing a couple of years ago about UFOs. Where they had, it was a conglomeration of years worth of work from those two guys I told you about, unweaponized. They were the main reasons why this got pushed through in the first place. They had people that were working within like the CIA, FBI, Air Force, Navy come up to Congress and testify with proof and video footage in front of Congress that was televised to all of America. And to the rest of the world. Like, it's getting serious. I know that Trump just like dropped some bomb recently about aliens in order to distract from the Iran war. I don't know what the hell happened in that or how much of that I believe. I haven't even gone into it, but it's been building and building and building because things are coming out, whistleblowers that have kept their mouths shut for years, that have been vetted, like meaning the journalist that's investigating them and documenting their story is constantly double checking their facts, their answers, and making sure that they're not bullshitting. Vetted like that for years before this gets public. And people that have really compelling like evidence. It's a huge time for UFOs.
See, and I think that's where, I don't know, like, I love UFOs. It's so interesting, the whole thing. Like, I'm very involved. But then it is funny that it always comes out at a time where it's like, let's release some information that's shocking to distract you from the other shocking information. Yeah. So that part's a little like, okay, you guys have known this for how long and kept it a secret till you could truth bomb everyone to get people to think about something else.
They have 100%. Do you know anything about Roswell by chance? Have you ever heard that? Roswell? No. That was like the first crash that ever got documented. They called it a weather balloon. They had people lying out their ass. They said it was one thing and then they got caught and then they said it was something else and then totally flipped the story. That was where this stuff started to first like percolate.
Well, because did you see the thing? It was a couple years ago, but it was in the Miami Mall. And apparently people are saying there's these big ass fucking creatures that appeared out of nowhere in the mall. And there was like so many fucking cops. And later they tried to like change the story, but it was weird that no one in the fucking mall ever came out and told their story about what they saw and what happened. It just kind of quietly disappeared. But there was talk that I can't remember what the coordinate, like basically they switched up the coordinate. So apparently the other coordinate, I don't know if it was in like Antarctica or something. It was some weird little thing where it was like the coordinate backwards could have been something else. So again, I got down a whole rabbit hole on that. But yeah, there's been a bunch of like over the years, like weird things that don't necessarily make sense.
And that's just the stuff that's getting filtered enough to get to you.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm 100% convinced that they are on a daily figuring out where things happen and then doing damage control and sending their feds in and telling people to keep quiet or else they're gonna. This is, I think it's a good spot for us to be in towards the end of our season. We've talked about some things like this before, but this one's, from my knowledge, really, really heavy in how much cover up and how much blackmail money, how much this other, as they say, deep state has been controlling the narrative on it and continues to keep an iron grip on the narrative. It sums up all the things that we've been talking about with government corruption and money and lobbying. It's a big epicenter. So I am curious because that's my story. And to where I'm at right now, like I'm big into it. I'm big for not like a tinfoil hat wearing kind of guy, but I do know that the government has spent a lot of money towards trying to keep this covered up, and it's worth talking about. And some of the things that I know and also that you know clash. And I think I'm curious because of the fourth dimensional or extra dimensional element that comes in, and I'll kind of, because I know that that's kind of like what you were gonna bring into the story.
Yeah, a little bit. So like me and Steph are basically watching this. It was like a YouTube thing, and so the lady is from. So the guy on the thing is called. His name's Daryl Anka, and he is on the podcast of. She's from The Big Bang Theory. She's the one that marries Sheldon. I don't know if you ever watched The Big.
Is she blonde? No, she's not blonde. She has dark hair.
Yeah,
and glasses.
That girl.
Yeah.
So we were watching it, and again, like it's one of those things where it's like you have to watch it a couple times, rewatch it. So basically, this guy talked about, and again, like take what he says, hit or miss. Like some of the stuff you hear, and you're like, okay, that's not real. I don't know.
Right.
But
use your discernment.
Yeah. Basically, he goes on this podcast. He's kind of talking about like his journey and how he kind of had joined this class to kind of amplify his gifts, because like we talk about, everyone kind of has gifts. They just, do you want to learn how to use them? Do you not? So he basically joins this class, and then he is all of a sudden getting like a download, and another girl in the class is, I guess, drawing what he's seeing.
Wait. What is a download?
So a download's basically like information just basically pops in your head and you don't know necessarily where it's from.
Okay.
So he starts getting this download of this being called Bashar. And at first he's like, okay, like, is this like real? Like, what's going on? But then obviously then this girl in the class is drawing out this thing that he's seeing. And then the guy of the class is like, oh my God, yeah, like you're channeling something basically.
So she's drawing, he's talking about what he's seeing in his head.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, so that's kind of the beginning of where it starts for him. So apparently all these years he's been talking to this entity, Bashar, that's basically, he believes it's a alien from a parallel universe. So again, light years away. We're not on the same timeline really, but they're communicating. And I guess Bashar is in his world or whatever, that's what his job is to do, is to reach out to other extraterrestrial beings basically. So he goes in and like talks about all this, and he also tells a story about how, I guess it was like him and his friends, they were like driving around and they saw something, they thought it was a UFO, they kept following it, and basically they were in this neighborhood, followed it, and then all of a sudden it was right over them. And all of a sudden it just like went away. But he said it literally, it wasn't like a normal aircraft. Like it almost defied the laws of gravity. When it left, it was like it slid away on a piece of glass. Like it was so out of like our realm of technology.
And on that I want to tell a little bit about the story that I had. Because it was it was something in the sky.
Okay.
After I'd been in like, I think maybe I even read the book at this point, or like I was reading the book Communion by this gentleman named Whitley Strieber.
Okay.
Talking about his encounters. I went outside one time into my front yard and I just was looking at the sky. I had done this a couple of times. I had done this a couple of times, and I remember seeing these four, it looked like egg-shaped or like little oblong orbs.
Okay.
But think about like a solar eclipse and how the center of the sun is black because the moon is in front of it, and there's a light layer of the sun behind it, right?
Yeah.
It was like mini of those.
Okay.
And they were soaring through the sky. If I'm like facing the north, if I'm facing the west, they came from behind me in the east and then kind of went southwest from my house. And they were very faint, but to the point where I could like make out that these were objects. There was something faintly glowing behind them. It was like that, kind of like this color, this like warm light coming from behind them, but they were no sound, flying in a formation. It was originally like two of them up here and then two of them to the side. And then for whatever reason, the one that was on this side went over here. So it kind of looked like a check mark, like an upside down check mark, you know? I remember going back in my room because I didn't, for whatever reason, take my phone out.
Yeah.
Of course not.
It's always when it's,
always.
Yeah.
And I figured I'd just like enjoy the moment. And I sketched down what I saw.
Okay.
So that was my little encounter. That was like maybe 2023, 24.
Okay, so funny you say that because now I'm thinking, what's the like weirdest thing I've encountered? And every 2 years, like growing up, we would go to this place it's in New Smyrna Beach, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And we literally had been going there since we were like little kids. It's almost like a glorified motel type of vibe. It's like this beachside little place, and they have like 2 pools, and then you walk down to the ocean.
Oh, wow.
Everything's right there. And
Sounds
then you
nice.
walk down, maybe like probably not even half mile. And then there's like a little beach town. So we would go every 2 years. My aunt had a timeshare.
Oh, that sounds cute.
Oh my God, one of my favorite places.
Mm-hmm.
And then since my parents and them have got the Ozarks, we haven't been back since.
Oh.
But yeah, one of those like places that you just grow up, you love it, whatever.
Mm.
So at night, we'd always walk into the town, go get dinner, and then walk back. And it was always like my family. So it was like me, my mom, and my sister. And then later she married my stepdad. And then it was my aunt, my uncle, and then their 3 kids. And then it was always us, but then sometimes there was like obviously outside people that would like tag along. So one night we're walking home and it's like pitch dark on the beach. And it's cool like walking on the beach because you're like, oh my God, pretty, you hear the ocean, whatever. But then there always was these like little ghost crabs that would walk around. So you had to be careful that you weren't like stepping on them and stuff. And so one night we're walking home, and all of a sudden we see this like, it looked like a ball of energy or something. And it literally was on the ground, and all of a sudden it went whoosh, and then it went into the ocean, like, and then just kind of disappeared. And we were like, okay. And then we were like, obviously you see that and you're like trying to be like, what is it? And it's like, maybe someone had, you know, a glowing ball and threw it, or maybe whatever. But then it's like there was no one there. We were by ourselves on the beach. Still to this day, we're like, we don't know what it is. But again, it's like ball of energy, extraterrestrial thing.
How big was it?
I want to say maybe like this big.
Really?
But it was just like, out of nowhere, like we just saw it and we are like, okay.
Huh.
And then we were all trying to like Google it and like, is there these types of things on the beach? And like, is there this and this? And we could have never figured it out. But I guess that's my only
Do you
whatever.
know how many sightings there are of UFOs going into the ocean?
Really? Well, they kind of talk about the as above, so below type of thing. And there's that whole conspiracy theory. It's my garage. It's fine.
Gotcha.
There's a whole conspiracy theory about how the ocean is actually connected to outer space. And it's almost like a whole loop type of thing. People think there's aliens in the ocean, and it's not necessarily in outer space.
Yeah.
But
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Because there are video footages from like aircraft that watch them go into the ocean. It's, they're crazy, dude.
See, it's so interesting. And I'm like, well, and okay, even going back to that thing I was watching with Steph, he was talking about how extraterrestrials have been involved in these like wars and stuff going on, and they'll actually go over and like turn off the codes and make sure like the world can't blow itself up.
They are known to go and mess with nuclear reactors and nuclear
like,
facilities.
shout out, keep doing it, please. Please turn
keep
it off.
these idiots from blowing us all up. Please, we need help.
Well, and that's kind of what a lot of other people have talked about too, is just that they're here kind of quietly to try to help humanity learn its mistakes and not create the same thing. Because then again, look how many times society has blown itself up and regrouped, blown itself up, regrouped. So, yeah, I wonder, it's like, has aliens been a part of this shit the whole time? Who knows?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
There's multiple theories out there, which is like, we are the petri dish that's growing AI for them. We're like a crop.
We're basically, I've heard we're a trash planet, a farm planet. Like, we're basically farm animals to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're no different than cattle. And they grow us and they take care of us until we make the thing. And then we don't know what the heck happens after that.
Well, yeah. And then there's like other people that have talked about how basically they do that and then they procreate with their species to create a new species. And so there's a lot of
like Invincible.
Okay.
Do you know anything about Invincible by chance? It's like the Superman story.
Okay.
An alien comes down to Earth, becomes the strongest hero, but the twist is that he kills like the Avengers of that world, basically. He has a kid, and then the kid's name is Invincible.
Okay.
And they get into a big fight. So, anyways, the point is the alien, the main one, he's from a race that has experienced a mass genocide. There's only like 50 of them left. They're super strong, they're super old, and they go to different planets and procreate to see which planets are the most
hospitable
and compatible with their own species.
Oh.
It just so happens that Earthlings look exactly like them.
Okay, because I did kind of see some stuff like that. Like, they're saying certain famous people, like, her name, like Anna Taylor Paul or something.
Sounds familiar.
I think that's who I'm thinking of. But yeah, there's like certain people that are famous that they're like, oh, this looks like an alien and a human had a baby, and like just kind of stuff like that. So I always thought that was kind of interesting because, again, like, I'm not gonna rule fucking anything out. Like, there is so much we don't know. So it's like, absolutely. To me, probably at least one time it's happened. So
yeah, absolutely. Why not? It's just insane to me how many different places that we can go with this conversation.
Yeah, honestly. Again, infinite.
Literally infinite. And I don't know. I just get a kick out of it. It feeds my curiosity a little bit. I get like a fix.
Yeah. Honestly, I agree. And like, even like my bestie Lex, like, she loves aliens. Like, everything is themed aliens. Like, yeah, loves aliens. But it's just, I think it's cool to think about. There's more things out there. Like, I love knowing that there's, I just love knowing that we don't know, honestly, because it's like,
I get that though. I do.
Yeah. Because honestly, I think if we exactly knew for sure, what the whole world was about, what the universe was about, I think everyone would freak the fuck out.
Definitely.
Like, genuinely.
Definitely. Because, I mean, the thing, or one of the things that comes up constantly is why the government keeps the knowledge of aliens away from, society. And one of the biggest ones is that if we did have confirmation, religions would crumble.
Oh my God! Yeah,
people would have fucking Oreos, dude.
People would have identity crises.
People would go insane, panic, start rioting, just absolute fucking panic. Like, I get that.
Yeah,
but also, come on, we already know, guys. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Right, we're ready. Like, at some point, you can't keep us in the dark forever. Like, you can try.
And how many people have actually experienced stuff, but then when they talk about it, it's like, oh, they're a tinfoil hat person, or oh, they have a mental illness, or and it's just like, again, there has to be at least one of the cases reported real. Like, let's say all of them are fake. At least one of them is real. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
it's
like the odds just are not in your favor,
right.
and that all of them are fake, and that all of these are just crazy people. Hell no.
Yeah.
We don't know diddly bupkis.
About anything.
Deflate your damn ego.
Yeah.
Go take some mushrooms, become one with nature, and then come back to us with a blank head.
Yeah. And then you'll be like, okay, honestly, yeah. Because he kind of talked about that in that thing too, of just how like, oh, when you do drugs, like it expands your consciousness. And it's like he was kind of talking about like DMT and how DMT, they're starting to think that it's because was it him? Or was it? No, you know what? This was another guy, I think. But basically, they were talking about how DMT, when people take it, basically, they think it opens a realm to stuff we can't see.
Yeah.
And so, and our body also, like, that's the drug that releases when you die.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's just very interesting. But it was kind of funny because the way he was talking was like, oh, people do it and their whole concept of reality shatters, and it's like nothing is what it seems, and like talking about all this, and it's like, I don't know, like me and Steph were kind of laughing because it's like, personally, I did not need to ever do drugs like that to know that. I feel like I was already kind of tapped into that energy, but I do understand why it takes sometimes people doing stuff like that to kind of, you know, erase the programming we've been taught to kind of jump outside the box. So I do get that.
Yeah. There's a bunch of research for like how psychedelics can open you up to things that you normally wouldn't be able to perceive. One of the biggest ones, because of the traction it's getting, is psilocybin mushrooms.
Okay.
There's a lot of studies that are being done that are pointing towards humans being able to perceive a lot more than what we believe, like in our everyday day-to-day lives. I feel like it was a bigger push for me being accepting and like really curious and like more tolerant of some of the theories in the UFO land.
Okay.
Because there's some that are just absolutely out there.
Yeah.
Always.
Like sometimes I'll listen to stuff or watch something and I'm like, okay.
And that's where
like,
your discernment.
That's a little, yeah.
Discernment plays a huge role there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, everybody has their own different level of discernment too. That's why I asked earlier, like, how did you feel beforehand, and like, where are you at now? Because everybody has a different level of discernment for these things. Some people believe in some things and some people believe in others. Like, I am not going to say that this is a negative or positive. It's just one of the theories that I've heard where they are praying mantises. That is what they are. They are big bug praying mantises.
Okay.
Some are benevolent, some are evil, some are malicious, you know, some are tricksters, and it's literally just so infinite. Whether you believe that or not, whether you've seen that or not, experienced that or not, or you think that's just plainly preposterous, that's the hardest thing in the UFO society as a whole, for like figuring out and vetting, and seeing if these people are making stuff up or if this makes sense and tracks in a way that you can't argue against.
Right.
And that logic, that like mindset is something I really admire about some of these journalists.
Yeah.
And like has made me have more of an admiration for journalists in general. Like the vetting process, the fact confirmation, the timeline, and years go by where you're asking the same questions and seeing if there's a crack in their story that doesn't make sense. That's a lot of endurance.
Honestly, and I will say, yeah, shout out to people that do that, because in this day and age, it's so easy to, again, use ChatGPT, AI, whatever, to look up your sources and stuff. But the fact that people are out there that they care that much about the truth, that they want to keep making sure, keep checking their sources, keep asking questions to see if there's cracks. Because it's like, yeah, that's a long ass process. And again, I'm sure they did it for years and years and years and years.
Absolutely. And that's literally the reason why this is getting up to Congress in the first place. Like a no jokes, honest to God congressional hearing about UFOs and about the evidence and about vetting these people for years and years and years and being able to go up with a solid narrative and story with evidence that corroborates it, and being able to go in front of Congress, and a lot of Congress really entertained it. Like, it was taken so fucking well, dude. I was so impressed. It was so good. Such a victory.
It's like, okay, because when we think of, I'm sure they probably tried to do this before, but it's like, even back in the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, like, I'm sure they're like, oh, these people are crazy, tinfoil hat theories, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess this kind of brings us full circle to my side of the story.
Okay, yes, let's hear it.
Because my story is the first documented abduction story.
Okay.
Of these two people. Their names are Betty and Barney Hill.
Okay.
So the Hills were the first case of people getting abducted with cooperating evidence. All right, so I got to pop my notes out for this one because I want to get the timeline just right. It was Betty and Barney Hill had gone to Montreal. They originally lived in Portsmouth. Going back to Portsmouth from Montreal. Yeah, Niagara Falls, Montreal. So they'd gone there for vacation. Where this took place was in New Hampshire between September 19th and the 20th in 1961.
Okay.
So that's our timeline. They were riding a Chevrolet, like an old ass like Chevrolet, and they were with their dog Delcy.
Okay.
Okay, so they're driving back home. They were gonna make this in a one night. It was obviously nighttime.
Okay.
It wasn't that big of a stretch, but they were expecting to be home maybe around like 1 or 2-ish in the morning. They ended up missing like 3 hours of time or something along those lines.
Okay.
Missing time is also a big phenomenon in the US UAP UFO world. There's a lot of documented cases about that where you were on your way to do something and then you got there, but like these people, your family members, your loved ones say like you've been gone for hours. Scary stuff. So that happened to them, but I think that there's like a certain amount that they do remember about this. And I think this initial part is what they remember. So they're driving. They occasionally get out of the car, like let the dog out to walk them. And Betty sees something close to Jupiter and the moon, apparently, in that region of the sky. And it looks like a star that hasn't been there before.
Okay.
And then the star starts to move, and they think that it's a satellite.
Okay.
They had gone to Niagara Falls, so they have a pair of binoculars around Barney's neck. And he lets Betty have the binoculars to look at it, and then they stop, and then they keep looking at it, and it's moving. Like, it's moving weirdly. Not like how a satellite would move. A satellite would move linearly in one direction. Same with the plane. It would move linearly. But this thing was like turning back around and moving, and they said that it started to get like closer and closer to them, like bigger and bigger. So they continue to drive. While Betty's like, what the heck is that thing? And Barney's convinced that it's like a satellite or like a plane, not a plane that he's ever seen before. He's more of a skeptic about this than Betty is. Betty's just curious. So they keep driving, and the thing is getting closer and closer and closer to them. It is giving them the feeling that it's following them.
Okay.
It's still up in the sky, but it's getting bigger and brighter and keeping pace with them.
Okay.
And they keep getting out of the car to check. At one point, Barney goes out, and Betty's still in the car, and he walks out a little bit away from the car, and he's looking at them with the binoculars, and he sees like this row of windows around it. It looks like a semicircular object.
Okay.
That has lights on the side of it. Over there in this part of the U.S., there is this outcropping called Old Man of the Mountain. It's a profile, kind of like Mount Rushmore against a cliff face, and it's pretty big. Let me see if I can get the dimensions. Betty claimed that the object was 1.5 times the length of the granite cliff profile, aptly named the Old Man of the Mountain. I think that was like 40 feet. So this thing was big.
Okay.
This thing was definitely big. Barney's looking at it, and he sees a row of people, and he sees one person that's kind of standing apart from the rest.
Okay.
He's looking at him, and in his brain, he's having a download of information, which is a theme in what I've heard about like UFOs and like communicating. It's like through telepathy. So he's being telepathically
it's almost
told.
like a dolphin.
Yeah,
that's why sometimes I get whatever with dolphins and the government with dolphins, because it's like, this sonar almost. I've heard. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And it's crazy how that rabbit hole goes. But I'm gonna restrain myself a little bit here, because Barney's almost being like hypnotized.
Okay.
In his words, he says, "I have to look away, because if I don't, then I'll just keep looking at him." And what the being is telling him is, just keep looking. Just keep looking right there. We're not going to hurt you, but we just need you to keep looking. And the reason why I say it in that way is because later on, we will discuss how they had to go under hypnotic regression in order to figure out other parts of the story which they had been wiped of. This story is fucking insane, and I've only scratched the surface. So Barney freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
He has a gun in the car, and he freaks the fuck out and goes back to the car and tries to get the gun for whatever purpose that's gonna do.
Right.
But he is freaking out. He is driving down this road at this point, speeding down the road, and the object is so fucking close to the point where it turns into the middle of the road. Okay, hang on. I skipped a little bit. So they're driving like crazy. And from what they can remember, they start to hear this weird like beeping sound on the top of their car. Now, this is like an old Chevrolet, 1961. So the roof is metal. And it starts to make this weird like, what is it called when you like tap, for like SOS?
Oh, Morse code?
It's like Morse code beeping kind of. And they hear it on the top of their car, and it's weird. And then I think they like might have said they don't remember what happens after that. And then they remember coming to in this like groggy phase, where the beeping is still there, but it stops and it goes away. And they get home. It's way later than they think that it should be, when they got home for how long they had been driving. They kind of vaguely remember the thing, but not really that much. And they get home. Betty has like this pink powder on her dress. Barney has a rash on his crotch. The binocular strap is ripped. There's like foliage on their pants. His shoes are scuffed. Like, again, this is like a different time where people like, shine their shoes. So his shoes were all scuffed up, and like they put all their stuff in the luggage inside this corner of the house, and they just left it there. There's also rings that formed on the top of their car, where if you put a compass over the rings, it would go insane. Like weird rings that were on the top of this car. Maybe they even got like radiation sickness or something like that. Or they feared that they had gotten radiation sickness, and they took a shower really quick, and they took all their clothes off and just threw it in the back of this corner of the house. They still have Betty's dress in the museum dedicated to this. Still have that. So for years, they tried to figure out what the fuck happened to them, because this was something that caused them great distress. Like, they didn't know what happened, but they just couldn't shake this awful feeling. And I can't even imagine what that feels like. Like I can't, because this is not the first time. That guy, Whitley Strieber, who authored that book that I showed you with the weird alien picture, he also described something very, 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 very similar, where he just could not figure out why he felt this awful feeling inside of him, like this nagging, awful feeling. Like the hills, they were also like, they were active in the Civil Rights Act.
Okay.
They were active in that civil rights circle. They were an interracial couple too.
Okay.
So they were heavily into it, and they didn't want this stuff to get out because of their, they didn't want their reputations being harmed. So they sought out help privately from a psychiatrist slash hypnotist.
Okay.
And he offered to help them by means of hypnotic regression. So he hypnotizes them and suggests to them that they remember these things, and the things that came to light out of this are fucking insane.
Okay.
So, and they actually have the real tape recordings out there. Like, I listen to them on YouTube. They're haunting.
Okay.
When people start freaking out, like they freak. It like actually is kind of scary. Being on the other side of that. So, multiple sessions in, and they start to get bits and pieces of what happened. So I'm going to relay the timeline as, there was some time that went in between this whole thing, but like the whole story culminates to this. So after they started driving really fast, the UFO cuts them off in the middle of the road. Okay. And Betty and Barney are kind of placed in this weird hypnotic trance. Barney's eyes are closed. Betty keeps her eyes open, but these men come out, as they claim. These men come out. They have uniforms, but they don't look like humans. Their eyes are bigger and more slanted. Their skin color is different. And they're wearing uniforms of some kind. And then there's one individual that stands out from the rest. They call and refer to him as the leader. Okay. Barney keeps his eyes closed because apparently that's what he's told to do. And they guide him out of the car, and they guide Betty out of the car too. And then they take him onto the craft with this thing just sitting there in the middle of the freaking highway with their car just sitting there. I don't know what the heck happened to Delcy. Maybe they took her too. Okay. So they take them onto the ship, and then they start conducting a bunch of tests on them. They scrape their skin. They, I think they probe and prod at them, but the most unnerving is actually makes me cringe really freaking hard. So if your discretion advised for this part, but Betty claims that they ran a pregnancy test on her by inserting a needle into her belly button. So I'm just going to leave it there. And she screamed. And in the hypnotic regression, she freaked and she cried. She like sobbed during that. It was not fun. But during this procedure, the leader had like put his hand on her and then suggested to her that she wouldn't feel anything. And then she didn't. Interesting. They like tapped on them. They, already said that they scraped, and then they did some other tests, but Barney had dentures, and apparently they like pulled on his teeth, and then the dentures came out, and then they like went into the next room with Betty, and they started pulling on her teeth to like see why, and it wasn't doing anything. And she started giggling because she was like, "It's because Barney wears dentures," and then she had to explain to them what dentures were, and it was kind of funny. It was kind of cute and kind of funny and kind of silly because I don't know, like if anything, this was like one of the first times that this species had interacted with humans and like got to run tests on them. I'm assuming because why else would they run these tests, right? And like why else would they not know what dentures are? Right. So it was interesting because that was like a little weird detail. Like, what? Right. This next part is just Betty by herself with the leader. So after the tests are run, Betty's in her room with this leader, and she asks him for proof. And he asks her, "What would you like for proof?" And then she says, and points to a book. And then he says, "This is like the star system. Like this is where we're from." And actually, okay, I'll get to that in a second. is a real star system that's been proven. It's called the Zeta Reticuli star system. And that word has been in pop culture too, like used interchangeably in different things. I don't know if that rings a bell or anything like that.
No, it kind of does. That's very interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So it's a real system in the world. We are trying, I'm assuming, to like zoom in, with our Hubble telescopes in order to see what's going on over there. We probably don't know, us down here on Earth, but maybe that's the next thing that they're going to drop in order to discern from like World War III or something. No, like, hey, we see little men on this planet.
Oh my God.
But the rest of the crew comes in along with like the examiner, the chief examiner, or whoever was running the majority of the tests. And they, I guess, communicate with the leader, and then the leader has to take the book back. And Betty says, "You gave me my word, or you gave me your word that I could have this." And they're like, "Well, the rest of the crew says that you can't have that. I'm sorry." They said, "But if I don't have this, then I'm not going to have any proof." And then he literally says, "That's the whole point. They don't want you to remember." And then she, like, defiantly, I love her for this so much. She's like, "I will remember. You're not going to stop me from remembering. I will remember."
Okay.
And then they lead him back to the car, and then they send him on their way. And Barney had, on his side of things, they had taken his dentures out, and then given them back, and then run more tests on him. But they also put something on his crotch, apparently. And it was like a cup of some sort, and that's where he developed that rash later on. So the whole story kind of came together after the regressions. The doctor, I forgot what his name was, but he was also like a famous guy. He documented all of this on tape, recorded all of the regressions. They're all out there on YouTube. I've listened to them. Really kind of haunting. Kind of awesome at the same time. But they didn't want this to go public. But it got leaked. And then they had to start talking about it.
Wow.
And Betty outlived Barney by a few years. She passed away, I think, in like 2010-ish era. She made it up there. Yeah. So we lost a little legend. But it was the spark of the whole alien abductions thing. They have a monument erected out there in New Hampshire where that happened. There's a museum dedicated to some of the drawings that they had. Like they have this, they call him Junior, but he's like the sculpture reenactment of what these aliens looked like, according to Betty and Barney Hill. There have been movies made, and I watched it. It was really interesting. It goes through the timeline of them like talking to the psychiatrist. There were shows and they were a big part for like bringing this to light. So that's the long and short of the Betty and Barney Hill incident, as it is called.
It's just so interesting because then it's like hearing that, it kind of reminded me of I don't know if you've ever seen the SNL skit with like the alien abduction. But it's usually, what's her name? Kate McCannon is in it, and she plays a pretty funny character. And she's like talking and like recounting her story, and like it's like everyone has like a nice experience, and then her experience is like horrible and shitty every time, and it's honestly really funny. But that's kind of what it reminded me of. I was like, wow, I wonder if that's kind of where they got that whole
probably
comedy skit into that. Yeah.
There's been a lot of parodies on it. Like, so many stories have been based around it. It's really cool how it's like actually a part of like American history when it bleeds into like pop culture that much and influences.
Oh yeah, because like I cannot talk today. Area 51, like that is, I don't know, like one day I would kind of like to go over there and just like do a little walk around in the desert, see if I see anything.
Be careful, dude. Those fucking feds are out there and they will fuck with you.
Oh, yeah. Well, even like going back to like how we talked about like in dreams that people can basically block you out. It's like I'm sure they have so many protections.
Oh, yeah. Psychic psyops that are out there and block. It was,
yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus, like, yeah, the UFO rabbit hole is real. For all of you listening out there, just don't take the whole plunge, you know.
Yeah, do it little by little.
Yep.
Like over the years, you just learn little things. Because yeah, if you go down the rabbit hole, honestly, you're like, I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
Like Maddie said,
yeah,
don't eat the whole elephant,
right,
or else you're gonna suffer some consequences.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, that's this whole topic about the UFO, it can go in so many different directions,
right?
Because there are so many different pieces of like evidence that have been brought to light of different forms, by different people. It's just amazing how they all like connect to like how you don't even have to, be a neuroscientist, a rocket engineer, or something super smart in order to like connect these.
Right.
And for me being around it for a couple of years now, which is kind of crazy, a lot of connections and a lot of common points, like the telekinesis, and the psychometry. I think you and I talked about it, claircognizance.
Yeah. All the clairs, clairvoyance, clairsentient,
Yeah, so the aliens are tapping into that stuff.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll be able to, if we don't lose it first.
Right. If we can all kind of, get our shit together and not,
I think,
blow up humanity.
Yeah, seriously. At least, hey, here's a good thing. At least we know that there's somebody out there on our side.
Yeah.
That's way more powerful than what these stupid idiot billionaires think that they can do.
Yeah. Well, because there's even like, I don't know if you've ever heard the whole like reptilian theory and how there's like a whole like it's almost like an extraterrestrial thing that is disguised as the government and they're controlling us and they're called the reptilians.
Yeah.
So there's that whole other spiel you can go into. But yeah. No, I remember I did like this past life type of like basically this girl read my past life thing.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because like I ended up being the oldest out of like all the people I had her do it for.
Oh,
and I basically came from like 3 different planets and like I don't know, just something fun, something interesting.
Can I go into detail a little bit more about that? I'm curious.
Yeah, let me see. Let's see if I can
also
find
while she's finding that out, I want to give a shout out to my neighbor. Thank you so much for the shirts.
Yes, thanks for our shirts.
I don't know if you'll ever watch this episode, but she makes these every year, and I got me and Peyton a matching tie-dye shirt, so shout out.
Our Uncontrolled Population tie-dye shirts.
First piece of merch dropping soon.
No, literally. Like we're gonna get, that's what our merch would be. It'd be fucking tie-dye.
With a little alien on a mushroom.
Okay, that's so annoying, actually. I cannot find it in my things anymore.
Oh, no.
That's so annoying. Honestly, you guys, it was like years ago I did this. And it was this one girl that was, she didn't have a lot of followers or anything. But she was like, guys, I have like a theory of like seeing if this would work and whatever. So she had people like send in their stuff so she could almost like practice it and like kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh my God, guys, like it works. So then that's when I was like, I'm gonna send my shit in. I want to know what she has to say about me.
Interesting.
But I'm really irritated because I cannot fucking find it to save my life. I don't know, maybe it was on my old email.
Maybe they're screwing with the devices like they did a couple of podcast episodes ago.
True.
That's actually a phenomenon, apparently. When you're talking about certain things that your electrical devices start acting weird.
And they say too, like when you're, like if you're ever doing something on the computer and it's not working and the more mad you get, the worse like it seems like it's working. It's like feeding off your energy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so annoying. I can't find it. But
whatever you do, stay calm.
No, literally. If I find it, I will talk about it for a little excerpt on one of our other podcasts.
Yes, please.
But it was basically just talking about how I came from this different planet. I think the plebeians, I want to say.
It sounds familiar. Yeah.
And yeah, she went into, and then she like did a little thing on my sister, and then I also got it on like my ex-boyfriend or whatever, because I just wanted to see the vibes of like, have we been here? Have we not? You know? But yeah, no, it was really cool to read about it, honestly. I really actually hope I find it because I kind of forgot about that until we have started talking about this.
Yeah, I'm curious because maybe they mentioned something about Zeta Reticuli in there. Or another star system that's far, far away.
Because when I first did it, I really did not know that much about any of this stuff. So it probably didn't hit the same as it would now.
And on that, I want to show you something. So this was a new piece of footage that was recovered.
Okay.
Within the last couple of years, I think it went viral for a little bit, but they call this the jellyfish UFO. And for those of you out there, I'll see if I can put a little video somewhere around here so you can see exactly what I'm showing you. But what do you think about this? This was captured on a really, really, really high piece of technology that we have. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is kind of one of those things where it almost like when they talk about it, like defies the law of gravity because it's like it's closer to the ground, but it's going very smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bumpy. It's not. That is so weird.
So they call this thing the jellyfish UFO.
Okay.
Those guys, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, are the ones that helped to bring this to light.
Okay.
It seems to be like translucent, like see-through and then solid, and like alternating between those two, which is really interesting, I thought.
Okay.
And this was in an active war zone too, in the Middle East. So that's why they had that footage.
Okay.
They show up in a lot of active war zones, apparently, like especially over the water with the military.
Okay, yeah. So that's the thing that's weird, though, is how much it does show up. Because I saw this other video, and it was like this pilot in the military had caught something on his like camera thing, and that got released a couple years ago. Yep. So yeah, it seems to be a lot of like military stuff, which again, they talk about how much they interfere with our military to like help. So like, thank God. But yeah, kind of weird.
Very weird. Very, very weird.
They also do talk about Project, I think, is it Project Bluebeam or something? Blue Book.
Do you know what that is? By chance? That is the code name for the government basically doing a really shitty thing.
Okay.
They put together a bunch of stories and then like my UFO knowledge is lacking in this case. I'll have to get back to you because I don't want to say something that's untrue.
Okay, fair.
But basically it boils down to a big government project hindering and putting a cap on UFOs and trying to keep it contained. That was Project Blue Book's objective, to muddy the waters.
Okay.
But I will definitely get more in. Well, if we ever come back to this.
Yeah, we'll probably do this type of thing again. But yeah, that's what's interesting. And they kind of talked about that when shit would get really bad and pop off and like they're trying to whatever, that then they would come and be like, oh, now there's aliens.
Yeah.
Now everyone listen to what we have to say because there's aliens and everyone needs to be scared. So that's also something I think about when they're like, ooh, aliens scary. It's like, I don't think anything can be scarier than our current government right now. So
I agree.
I'd almost welcome them to come. Like, please. It has to be better than this. It really does.
I definitely hope so, man. But also, just like with anything, the UFO rabbit hole also goes into what could be worse than the government. Like a species being super smart, super technologic, but also losing like their DNA.
Okay.
And their DNA crumbling. And to the point where these beings that we're seeing aren't even living. They're like droids. Like they're like synthetic.
Okay.
To an extent. Or like you said, they're like time travelers.
Yeah. And they're like dying basically on their own planet. Because like they don't have hair. They have like morphed looking facial features, and it's said that they destroyed their own planet, so they're trying to help us not destroy ours. And yeah.
Do you remember when I mentioned a little bit ago the Operation Stargate or Project Stargate? And I talked about the whole thing with the Mars.
Yeah.
Like that ancient civilization a million years ago that suffered some kind of crazy catastrophe.
Yeah.
And that one of our psychic CIA spies basically was able to remote view that time. They were able to do it like in the 80s. So I'm sure that the government's at this point like running more experiments trying to find out different planets. Way more out there. But yeah, it's like one of the theories that I heard about is like what happens if humans just become a spacefaring society? Like why would some of these adaptations make sense? Well, space is dark. So it would make sense for our eyes to get bigger. There's no reason for us to be hot or cold because we're always temperature cooled, or our bodies are naturally regulated in temperature by our spacecraft. So why would we need body hair? You know, and then we're not getting the sun's rays, so we'd get pale, right? And like all these things, like we'd lose our hair, and over generations, like the ethnic groups that are existing in the world today would blend together and we would all look basically the same.
Yeah, there's this like Time magazine that they like gave like a projection of what the average human would look like in 100, 200 years. Yeah.
It's
very interesting.
Very interesting stuff. I don't know, man. I could continue to go through this.
No, literally. We've been talking about
literally
this
ever.
For
an hour.
Damn. Yeah, almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, it didn't feel like that at all.
At all.
Means we got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
Literally.
Anything else that you're curious about or that you want to go into a little bit more before we call it?
Honestly, no. I feel like we touched on at least all of my knowledge about it. I would say you're a little bit more knowledgeable and in the UFO space, alien space.
Is my tin hat showing?
Yes.
Oh, man. Oh, man. One of these days, I want to just go, like, watching the sky. There's a place not too far from Colorado, which is famous for, like, seeing stuff and sightings. Really interesting.
Okay, because you know what that kind of makes me think of sometimes? Did you ever do the app Brandonautica?
It sounds familiar, actually.
So basically, it was this app that you'd put in and it'd send you to random coordinates. And I remember people doing it this one summer, and like this group of friends found a suitcase with a body in it.
Oh my God.
Other people found other people dead. They'd find like sometimes really cool things. They'd find just like the most random shit ever. Wow. I actually did it with Billy one time.
Oh shit.
It brought us to like a neighborhood over in Thornton, and we just ended up walking into a field, and we found a little tiny, it was like an animal skull. It was like really, really tiny. We ended up leaving it there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, just leave the stuff there that you found. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Be respectful of it.
But yeah, no, I don't know why that made me think of it, but it was just like, no one knew how this app really worked and whatever. And it's like, why was it sending people to places that people were finding like dead bodies and weird shit? And yeah, it's like, how did it know? Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. I'm like, maybe UFOs.
Maybe. Honestly, maybe that's what the agreement has been reached between the aliens and the government.
Go prance around, find something cool out in wherever.
We'll give you a bunch of little Easter eggs. Go find the Easter eggs. It's like geocaching.
No, literally. Well, okay, because speaking of that, did you see the whole thing about Pokemon Go and how they think Pokemon Go, the most rare stuff was found in places that like didn't have a lot of like data collected. So basically they say like when you don't have to pay for the product, you are the product. So there was this whole thing basically saying that Pokemon Go was a way for companies to data collect, and
I believe that.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you are not paying for the product. You are the product. That's crazy. Yeah. That's next level shit right now.
That doesn't really coincide with that, but just something interesting, you know?
I'm curious about a little bit more about that Pokemon Go thing. So like they sent these like rare things to remote areas.
Yeah.
And then, well, obviously people would be incentivized to go and find the rare things. So they go into these unknown areas. Why? Yeah. Why would they go into these unknown areas? Do they know something that we don't? Do they want us to find something?
I think it was like they wanted to basically like, because then obviously you're holding up your phone camera too when you're, oh my God, look at the Pokemon Go, like at my phone camera. So it was a thing to kind of like data track, get pictures of areas. And so all these remote areas, it's not like they had to send in crews to take pictures and shit. It was like people were doing with fucking Pokemon Go. And I don't know how true this is, but basically they were saying there was like rare Pokemon in like North Korea and like all this shit where it's like really fucking hard to get to. And they were like, oh, maybe. So,
of course, they'd send a bunch of tourists to North Korea to be able to document. Of course they would.
No, literally.
They've done crazier shit.
No, literally. But yeah, that was like a little side tangent of something I learned. I was like, okay.
Yeah, dude.
Things aren't always what they seem. Going back to aliens. We don't know.
They don't. I mean, one of the most interesting things I just learned the other day was that Google Maps is not as complete as you think it is.
Yeah.
There's so much more out there that we don't have documented, but they want you to believe that it's full and complete and that machines know everything. Not everything is as it seems.
And I will say it doesn't, because when we went to Europe in 2019, it was like my whole family. And we went out for like a family reunion, and we were in Amsterdam and had to get to Germany. So we had to take, I think, 2 trains to get to Germany. Oh my God, that story was like, we were running, we almost missed a train. My sister dropped her suitcase down the stairs.
You told me about that. That shit was insane.
Yeah. So we get on our train, whatever. We get into the town, Emmerich, Germany, that we're supposed to be in, and we realize we missed the bus. They don't have Uber in this small-ass town. I think they had taxis, but obviously we didn't know how to do that. We just got there.
Yeah.
And so we had to be at our hotel by, I think, like 5:30. So we had to walk. Oh my God, it was like 45 minutes straight. But when I tell you, this walk felt like 70 billion hours. We walked through like this big ass park neighborhood. It was a bunch of cobblestone shit. What? We got to the other side. We had to walk through a big ass field.
Oh my God.
We were basically on the side of the highway at one point. You could literally, I have a little TikTok video of it. You could go watch it on my TikTok. Shit. But yeah, it took fucking forever to get there. And we're carrying our big ass suitcases and our backpacks. It's hot as fuck. But yeah, no, the fucking Google Maps said we could walk it. And it was like, yeah, it's walkable. That was not very walkable. It was not. And people were looking at us on the side of the highway like, what the fuck are these American ass bitches doing? Like, this is ridiculous. We did make it to the hotel. We were all sweating, and we had like 15 minutes to get ready before because they got like a big bus to drive all the family from the hotel to and from all these places we were going to. So yeah, it was a time, but we had fun.
I feel exhausted just by listening to that.
No, it was horrible. God. But yeah, so don't always trust the maps because they don't always tell you the truth, you know?
Yeah.
I guess technically it was walkable, but if anyone had mobility devices or anything, like it was barely walkable for us, so.
I trust how walkable that is according to how much I trust the government.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as they can throw me. Well, thank you so much for chatting all things aliens.
Yeah, thanks for reading some books for us.
Bye, dude. It goes so deep. So deep. But I am Sam.
I'm Peyton.
And this is Uncontrolled Population. We will see you guys in a couple weeks. Bye.